you got to realize that whatever you're doing, you're competing with somebody. What is it that gives you an advantage over your competition? Whatever you're good at, try to be great at it. And if you're great at it, good things will happen.
Maverick.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us. This is the Maverick Podcast. I'm your host, DJ Maverick. Today, we have a powerhouse of an entrepreneur in the house, the one and only Shellica Jordan. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much.
I'm super excited. Before we dive into everything, for the 1% of the people out there that don't know who you are, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Shellica Jordan. I live in Oklahoma City. I own a salon called Chante Beauty, or a brand called Chante Beauty. I just sold my salon that
Congrats.
I had for 8 years. I'm an licensed esthetician and micropigmentologist, which is just a fancy word for permanent cosmetic tattoo artist.
Okay,
So I only tattoo on the face.
cool.
So I like to work. I'm a huge entrepreneur. I have a son, so I'm a single mom. I take care of him.
Yeah, I was going down through your list. So entrepreneur, mom, lash artist, and then, like you said, your new beauty brand. So that's pretty cool. I guess maybe let's talk about, you growing up. How did you start? What were you into? Are you originally from Oklahoma, or where are you from?
No, I'm born and raised in Georgia.
Georgia.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was born in Augusta.
Cool.
So I'm a Georgia peach.
Awesome. Very cool.
And my mom was a single mom till I was 11. And so since I was little, I always wanted to be a teacher or run a classroom or just be with people, I guess. I did like the beauty industry. And so when I moved to Texas when I was 16, my whole family moved to Texas because we just couldn't do Georgia.
Yeah. What was it about Georgia that you're like, let's get out?
Well, because I'm not fully white.
Okay.
So it made it hard.
Okay.
Being mixed with 3 different races.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom's blue-eyed, blonde hair.
Oh, really?
She's got 2 triracial kids.
Mm-hmm.
We had a lot of stairs.
Yeah. Okay.
And so it made it uncomfortable. And I know for me, when I was 16, you want to get a car.
Definitely.
And you want to start working. And I applied to every place in my town. And no one would hire me.
No way.
And all my
Really?
friends were getting jobs and no one was calling me back. And it got to a point where I went to the veterinarian place and was like, I'll volunteer.
Man.
10 hours a week, I'll volunteer. You don't have to pay me. I just want the experience.
Yeah.
And still didn't get it.
That's incredible. I wouldn't think that would be the case in Georgia, especially modern times, right? That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, well, I'm 37, so that was 15.
Well, we won't
16
put it
years
out.
ago.
It wasn't that long ago.
So, and it was in between Savannah and Atlanta. So we
Yeah.
weren't really in Atlanta, where it was moving forward.
I see. Not where the music scene, R&B, and all that was blowing up, right?
Yeah, you still face some adversities there, but further south, it was major.
Okay.
So when we moved to Dallas, we were there not even a week, and I got a job.
Really?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yes, I know.
What was the first job?
I worked at the mall. So we lived in Louisville,
Okay.
and the apartment was right next to the Vista Ridge Mall.
Mm-hmm.
And I went there one day, and I was like, hey, I'm homeschooled. Are y'all hiring? And she was like, yeah, can you start tomorrow? That's all she said.
That's it.
And I was like,
that was a quick interview, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And that was so different from coming from Georgia, where they just looked at me. I was
That's
just
crazy.
like, thank you for your application,
Mm-hmm.
And I started working the next day. And because I was homeschooled, I could work whenever. So as the youngest employee, 16, I was doing everything a manager did.
That's awesome. What type of was it retail? or
Okay,
what-
so
what
it was
did you do?
retail. It was
Yeah.
a store called Aeropostale.
Okay.
Yeah,
I've heard
most
of
people
that.
say Aeropostale,
Yeah.
but it's Aeropostale.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. I learned something new.
Yeah, so I did hiring, firing, managerial things. It was so much fun. And then I also like technical stuff, computers. And so I started doing tech arts at my church.
Okay.
And so I got into that, and then I started training with that. And then as time went on and video became a cool thing,
Yeah.
I created the graphics for Overlay on video.
Okay.
And so that was really fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I
So
did that for a while.
super ambitious.
Yes.
And then just a go-getter, it sounds
Yeah.
like.
And so when I was 19, my mom got into network marketing.
Okay.
And so, of course, she drugged me along. And at the time, I was not interested.
Yeah.
At 6 a.m. breakfasts and like
that's tough.
all these conferences and stuff. I was just like, Mom, I don't want to do this. But I went on a trip to South Dakota with some friends when I was 19. And I remember it was September. And I looked at my mom knew because I was on her team. She was like, check your bank account. And I had $287.69 in my bank account.
And you're like, maybe I do like this a little bit.
And I was like, Mom, I'm out of town on vacation with
Yeah.
my friends and I'm making money. It was so cool.
Yeah.
And so I went to all the conferences in Vegas, and there was a few here in Oklahoma City. This is when I lived in Dallas. And just being in the room with millionaires and people who write books and are doing things and building big teams was my childhood, basically.
Yeah.
And so when I was in Dallas, I always had like 4 or 5 jobs, like 4 or 5 streams of income.
That's awesome.
So at a young age, my mom had me reading Think and Grow Rich.
Did you read a Rich Dad, Poor Dad? That's one of my favorites.
Poor Dad,
Yeah.
yes. All the books, like
Yeah.
Think and Grow Rich, like all of them. And so it mentally got me a step ahead of most people.
Definitely. Yeah. So you were like, okay, I'm just going to be an entrepreneur like out the gate, or did you sort of want to go to school and pursue something after high school?
Honestly, I didn't think about it, but I think because of what my mom the people she placed me around in the rooms that I was in played a huge impact. But I didn't think, oh yes, I want to be an entrepreneur, because I was salary at my church. I babysat. I did freelance for cosmetic lines, and it was at that time I was in Sephora working for Too Faced Cosmetics, and the girls there were touching this girl's face, and it was a facial, and I didn't know that at the time, and I was like, I want to do that. And they were like, well, you have to be licensed. And I said, well, how do I get licensed? I'm going to do it. So from the time I moved to Dallas and had my job and was doing network marketing with my mom, it allowed me to ask questions and go after what it is I thought I wanted.
Okay.
Right.
So you got a little taste of like different things and kind of get feel,
like,
right?
confident. And be like, I want to do that.
Definitely.
And then they're like, okay, we got to go to school. I was like, okay, I'm going to go to school. Well, in Dallas, the schools were like $15,000.
Wow.
And at the time I was dating a guy from Oklahoma, and he was going to Moore Norman.
Okay.
And so I checked it out, and it was like $3,000.
Nice.
So that's what got me here was school.
That was my next question. I was like, how'd you end up in Oklahoma? Yeah.
School. Because so my plan was to go there, get my license, and then transfer it back to Dallas.
Yeah. Because I would say probably, I guess just generally speaking, there's probably more of a beauty industry in Dallas compared to Oklahoma, or do you think it's pretty comparable?
It's just as many people are interested.
Yeah.
I think that there's such a forward-thinking city and state that it's a little bit different, but not much.
Okay.
Not much.
Okay, cool. And it's a good thing that you had a good experience with the networking, because sometimes I hear about the networking and it turned out to be like an MLM, right, or something, and then people hate it and they don't make any money or they feel tricked. But sounds like you had a good experience.
See, our thing was at the time it was prepaid legal.
Okay.
And now it's called Legal Shield.
Okay.
I was okay with that because it was a service that you could use and benefit from.
Yeah.
It wasn't necessarily like a
product.
weight loss product.
Yeah.
But there was a law firm. You had a ticket or issue you could call.
Okay.
Get help, right, for $25. That's not bad. A month to be able to pick up the phone at any time and reach your attorney.
Yeah, that's cool. So you went to school and then you decided to work for somebody for a while, or did you like launch your first business out of school?
So when I moved here, I was doing makeup. So I worked at Sephora here, and then I met some girls. They worked at Bare Minerals.
Okay.
So I started working there. I was doing makeup while I was in school.
Yeah.
Well, one of the girls that I worked with, her friend owned a eyelash studio here. And so only estheticians can do eyelashes.
Okay.
So because I was the only one doing in aesthetic school, she was like, hey, do you want to learn eyelashes? My friend is looking for new girls. I didn't know anything about eyelashes. I didn't know it existed. I had no idea you glued extensions onto lashes. Never heard of it. But I like learning new things. I'm curious. And so I said, okay, sure, why not? I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
And so she put me in contact with her, and I went and trained, and the rest is history,
That's
I guess.
cool.
Yeah.
I will say, as a guy going into like Sephora or Ulta, it's super intimidating. like
Sure.
they have all these people, and then I guess they like put your sort of palettes on record, and
Yeah.
they like there's a whole science, right, for like shades and all that stuff.
It is.
It's a lot to learn.
It's a
right?
lot. And you think, so someone always says what comes easy to you doesn't always come easy to someone else.
Yeah.
And that's how you can kind of make some money too.
Yeah, definitely. That's cool. So after that, you started doing the eyelashes, and then the permanent makeup sort
Yeah.
of came
Yeah.
along with that, or
So
what?
when I got started in lashes, there was only 2 studios here.
Oh, wow.
That was it.
Wow.
And a lot of my clients, so that was like 12 years ago, a lot of my clients that I've had for 10, 11, 12 years, I'm like, how did you even hear about me?
Yeah.
And you know what the
It wasn't
crazy
like
thing
big
is?
social media,
No,
right?
it was newspaper clippings.
No way.
Yeah.
Really?
And I said, I've never asked you this, but how did you hear about me?
Yeah.
The place was called Eye Candy.
Okay.
And they were like, I think my mom gave me a newspaper clipping. There was an advertisement.
Were you advertising in the newspaper?
The owner was.
The owner.
The owner.
Okay.
So at the time, I was commissioned
Yeah.
at this studio. And it was her job to advertise. And that's how you did it, because social
Yeah.
media was not that big.
That's crazy.
And so like a newspaper clipping, and one lady was like at a funeral, and someone had them and told her. And so when I learned lashes, I was really good at it, and I picked up really fast. But I think because I was a makeup artist, I can work really good with my hands and be very tedious,
yeah.
that I picked it up. And a lot of people who learn, they hate it because it is
It's
very
an art,
tedious.
if you ask
Yes.
me, right? Because you
Yes.
got to be really in deep with like being symmetrical, looking right, and then each person's features and
Yeah.
everything. It's
Yeah.
an art, right?
Yes. Yeah. And
You
how
can't
your
really
eye
mess
shape
up. Yeah.
is. And then you're having to separate one individual eyelash
Jeez.
and put something on it.
Yeah. So when you do that, how long does it last on the person?
So you have to come in for fills.
Okay.
So I always equate it to like nails. So you get a full set, they grow out, and then you go back for a fill.
Got
right?
it.
So the nails don't last forever,
Yeah.
but you don't have to take them off every time.
Okay.
So you come in every 2 to 3 weeks for a fill.
Got it. So it sounds like you built a foundation the old school way, newspaper, word of mouth. But nowadays, it's really social media.
It's
We were
hard.
talking about like before we started recording about being on TikTok and everything. What are your thoughts on that? Because I think it's a full-time job just doing that alone,
It
right?
is. Yes. I was just talking to a friend. He was talking to me about like feet finders, that app.
What is that? Tell me about that.
Like,
I don't know
you
if I've
can,
been there.
people have feet fetishes, which I kind of do. I don't think I'd pay for it, but like
Yeah.
some people will. But that's their thing, is feet, and so they'll pay to watch videos of you stepping in cake
No
or
way.
squishing spaghetti, or like one
Okay.
lady plays the harp, and so the
With
camera
feet?
is just on her feet.
No
Her feet
way.
are on the floor, but she's playing, so it's pretty,
Yeah,
but you're only looking at the feet.
got it.
So
And I
any-
imagine your feet has to be like pedicured and
Yes,
everything perfect,
yeah,
right?
yes. So,
Or maybe there's people that are into the funky feet. I don't know. Maybe.
like, they like to watch you put your socks and shoes on or
Really?
take them off. Like, it's a whole thing. So my point is like, it has gotten wild.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
and to keep up with so many people, and your competition is not just in your 30-mile radius. It's kind
really
of
the
all over the
world.
world.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
intimidating.
And it's like a creator economy, right? So why would I go to you versus somebody else? And it's
Right.
really about like your content and what makes you different, right?
Yes, yeah.
So if I put you on the spot, what makes you different than everybody else? Because I'm sure the beauty industry is super competitive.
Yes,
right?
it is. Well, one thing that makes me different is I've been doing this since 2008.
Mm-hmm.
So a very long time. I've stayed current. I've stayed in it. I still have a passion for it.
Yeah.
And I also take care of my clients service wise. You know, you're going to come into a place that's super clean,
Okay.
like immaculate. Smells good. The
Nice.
aroma is nice.
You
You're
got the
gonna
vibes.
Yes, I got the vibes.
Yeah.
But I'm also giving quality work,
Yeah.
and I care about what I'm doing. And it's so cool because I don't wake up with that intention per se, but that's the feedback I get from my clients.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like a part of me.
Okay. Do you
Yeah.
have music too in the background?
Yes,
or
yes. The
What do- how
music
do
is like chill vibes. Like,
How do you go about that? Because I'm sure everybody hates like maybe different types of music or whatever.
So I have always been told I've always had the best music
Okay.
because I always try to find artists that like aren't popular, like
Yeah.
JP Cooper,
Okay.
Love, Tori Kelly, Rozzy, Jess Glenn, like
Nice.
a lot of people that you're like, they listen and like, who is this?
I've been on October London recently. Do you like
Okay,
October
I don't
London?
know them.
He's like a R&B dude. Like everybody's comparing him to like the next Marvin Gaye or something. You should look him up.
I have to, because I love good music.
Yeah.
And so like I always listen to Tori Kelly because it's rap, it's Christian, it's chill, it's, all country.
Okay.
So you get a little bit of everything and it's still chill. Like
Yeah.
Drake is on there, like you never know.
The crying, I'm gonna get back with my ex Drake, probably, right? Not like the baller Drake,
Yeah,
right?
so you gotta, and then just have it chill. Sometimes the salon, you gotta have a little bit of energy in there, but I think
Yeah.
it all comes together with how it smells, how it feels, like the energy in there, like no drama, we are professional, we're on time. All those things matter in the experience of the client.
Definitely. Yeah.
They see everything.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's not the stereotypical spa music with just like background wind music or anything like that.
When I do facials, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
But when I do lashes, no.
Okay, that's cool. So my understanding is before you sort of started this new beauty brand, you built out a business and then you sold it, right? So walk me through that process.
So like I said, when I started out doing lashes, I was commissioned. So I worked for someone and then I moved into booth renting. So I moved to another salon and rented out a space.
Okay.
And so when you do that, when you're commissioned, let me go back. When you're commissioned, the owner pays for everything, right? You just show up to work and you get a commission of the sale. Then when you're booth rent, you get your full commission, but you pay for all your products
I see.
in your room. So it's essentially like another bill.
Yeah, like you're leasing the space.
Yeah,
sort of
leasing the
thing,
space,
right?
but no managerial duties,
Yeah.
right? And so then when you own a salon, which was my next step, I realized I couldn't work for somebody. It was just too hard and the place I was at was beautiful, but they weren't paying the gas bill and the water bill. And so we wash our hands in cold water.
No way.
They weren't paying the water, like the bottled water service. I
Yeah.
mean, it just was so many things. And I'm like,
Why do you think that is? Were they struggling financially or did not have, it sounds like they had
assuming
clients or
so,
maybe they were just bad at like managing the money. I don't know.
some people who like rob Peter to pay Paul. And it's
Yeah.
just like,
That's
okay,
crazy.
we need help. Because they're hairstylists. You
Yeah.
can't wash hair in
Yeah,
cold water.
cold water. So what
Yes.
would you do? Like you would just wash it
You
in
just
cold
had
water?
to.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was rough. And so I was just like, I can't
Yeah.
do this. I just need to have my own space, my own rules. Like this is just too hard.
And ultimately, it's like you're not really building a brand for yourself, right? So if they associate you with this bad experience, they're going to think it's you.
could, yeah,
Right?
it
So
could.
it could hurt you down
It
the road.
could, yeah.
Um,
It's very important. So I remember I was like, I just need my own place. And I remember I got a realtor and I was at we went to eat lunch at Charleston's to sign the papers and my leg would not stop bouncing up and down. And at one point I put my hand there and I was like, stop.
You're just like nervous.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was so nervous.
Yeah.
And that's when you know this is a direction you should be going and just do it scared. And so I opened up my own place and I had 2 girls that wanted to follow me. No, sorry, 3. So I was very grateful for that. And that helped me make that decision a little bit easier too. Like, okay, I've got 3 girls renting from me. So that's going to help offset some of the rent.
Did you like buy or lease?
I leased it.
Okay.
Yes.
What are we talking? 1 year, 2 year?
I did a 2-year.
Okay. That's a big commitment.
Yeah. So I like office parks because they're already built out
Yeah.
for you. And so the street front view I got first, and then there was one on the side connected, and I rented that one
Okay.
for 2 years.
Cool.
So I expanded. I don't recommend it. I shouldn't have done that, but I did. And so I had girls working for me. Everyone was booth rent, and it was great. And everyone knew the rules. You come to work, you leave, like that's it. You know, we don't drama or anything. And so that was really cool. We moved from that location to Chisholm Creek. We were there for a while. And then we moved off of Penn.
Okay.
And then
What was the name of that? The
Posh
first-
Beauty Bar.
Posh Beauty Bar. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Sounds
Yes.
fancy. I like it.
Yeah. So Posh Beauty Bar and Lash Studio was my place because I did lashes, but I had hairstylists and I had a facialist
Okay.
there.
Cool.
So,
And it's pretty incredible that you didn't encounter any drama or people, not showing up on time or whatever? It sounds like it was pretty smooth.
Yeah. Well, because like if you're the leader, they're going to follow what you do.
Yeah.
You have to set the tone.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't hard because it's just how I am, type A. I'm
Cool.
a Libra, so like everything's symmetrical and balanced and harmonious, so.
But ultimately you decided to sell it.
Yeah. So
why did you decide to sell it?
So I'm obviously, I'm not from here, and there are other places in the world I like better. And I just felt like having that brick and mortar kept me kind of stuck.
For sure.
And if an opportunity presented itself, I couldn't go. And I just didn't like that feeling anymore. And it came up in a very organic way. And I called my mom and I was like, what should I do? Because this is my baby. Like I started this in 2015.
Wow.
And I did it for 8 years.
Yeah.
And
built out the
started
clientele.
training. Yeah. And it's a very humbling place to be because your pride can step in and be like, you are posh.
For sure.
Are you just going to let this go? And like, what are you going to do? And how are people going to know you? And it's just like, if I stayed on that, I would have kept it.
Yeah.
But you have to let go of things to get something.
I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with that. Sometimes they don't know to let go even when things are bad, right? They're like, I'm going to make this work. I'm going to make this work. And they end up going bankrupt, right? So it's good that you knew like, okay, it's time to let this go.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, it's good to have people in your corner too, because I immediately called my mom and this is what she said to me. She goes, you've been praying about this for like a year now.
Really?
And I said, I have? I had no clue.
Yeah,
I had
just
no
been
recollection.
talking about it with her?
I guess so.
You don't remember?
I do not remember that because it was never a negative connotation of like, I need to get rid of this and this is getting on my nerves. I guess I just was talking like, if I sold it, I want to be able to be free.
Yeah.
That's really what I wanted to feel was freedom.
Okay.
And so when it came and she said that, I was like, okay, maybe this is the direction I should go. And then I talked to one of my clients and she was like, dude, we've literally been talking about this for 3 years.
No way.
And I was like, when?
Like, does everybody know but me? What's up, right?
And I was like, when did we talk about this? And she was like, every other lash appointment. Like, you want to write a book. And she even said, you want to start your podcast. Like, you want to do other things. And I'm like, yeah, I say a lot of things. I don't remember half the stuff I say, but I'm a dreamer. I started young.
Yeah. Let's talk about your routine as an entrepreneur. What does your morning look like? What's your evening look like? Because a lot of people think it's just like, just private jets and like all fun, Instagram. I'm going to eat a steak, for the 5th night in the row or whatever, right?
No.
Yeah.
I know. I was out to dinner with this guy and he was like, I mean, you look like every time I see you, $1 million. Like you make $1 million. And I'm like, I don't know why people think I make $1 million. Like, I don't know. And I guess it's how you carry yourself. I'm not sure, but it's a lot of hard work and it's a lot of being disciplined and accountable to yourself. Like you can have coaches and mentors, but they're not going to get you out of the bed.
Right.
You have to get yourself.
And as an entrepreneur, like there's no boss to tell you, hey, work at this time. It's all on you, right?
Right. Yeah. Someone said something and so, cause I'm an entrepreneur, my son's dad is also an entrepreneur. And they were like, how wonderful it is that your son gets to see his parents not have a boss.
For sure.
Because a lot of parents, my boss wants me to work late. My boss needs me to write this. My boss needs...
Or I can't take off or go to your baseball game because my boss didn't approve it.
Yes, right? But I am the boss.
Yeah.
And so and I never saw it that way, but he gets to see, because a lot of times kids, they do what they see, not what you tell them.
True.
And so I was just like, wow, he gets to see me. So he's a driving force behind me getting up every day and how we go to bed. So a lot of times at night we'll meditate together.
Cool.
I love that time with him and I love that he does it. It's so cute hearing him like breathe in and breathe out. And sometimes I'm like, what did you think about in your vision? And he tells me he thinks about his video games.
Nice.
I'm like, you didn't do it.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's he's gonna be like a video creator or something. I mean, that's a whole industry in itself. Like I remember growing up, all my friends were into gaming. Their parents were always like, that's not going to go anywhere. Stop gaming. Who would have known if they would have continued? they could have been pro gamers making crazy money right now.
For
Right?
Christmas, that's what I got him. Was
Yeah.
a PC, what is the other thing? A monitor, his
Yeah.
keyboard, like top of
wants
the
to be-
line. Yeah, he wants to be a gamer.
He wants to be a streamer too, or just a
Yes,
gamer?
no, we're making money.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're like we're making money.
yes. The guy at
Yeah.
Best Buy is supposed to come this week and
Nice.
set it up. He makes money gaming, so he's like, oh, he's got a Twitch account, a YouTube,
Yeah.
like, cause he needs to pay me back.
Yeah,
This was
that's
a lot
part
of
of the
money.
plan. Does he know he signed a contract?
Yeah. I'm like, Bub, you gotta make money. But he's seen his parents do that, so it's just a part of him. Like the other night, I heard him talking on his video chat. He was like, "You guys are the best students I've had,"
What?
and I was like, "What are you talking?"
He's running
about?
like a mastermind
Yes.
all of a sudden.
He's like, I have people I'm teaching and coaching how to play.
Nice.
And he's like, y'all have been the best students I've had. Great job.
There you
And
go.
He's 9.
There you go. Leader in the making.
Yes.
That's cool.
So at night we do our prayers, we meditate, and then in the mornings I like to do a meditation again. Just be grateful for my day. You know, sometimes I'll journal, read. I'll go downstairs, make me some coffee. Like my whole back part of my house is like glass, and there's like a waterfall and a pond, and so it's just very serene and
That's cool.
peaceful.
Just have your coffee there.
Yes.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, and eat breakfast and just chill and just make it as peaceful in my home as possible.
Are you a morning, let's go to the gym first thing in the morning person or no?
I used to be
Yeah.
when I was married because I could leave at 6 o'clock in the
Yeah.
morning and go, and now I can't, so I go in the afternoon.
Okay. That's usually, I think, entrepreneurs, they're pretty like adamant about going to the gym too. And at a certain time, I have to go no matter what,
Yeah.
right?
What you have to do is make a schedule and a routine that works for you, you know?
Yeah.
So I would love to go in the morning, but I'm not going to get him up at 6 in the morning. Yeah.
Right. And I think the other important thing that maybe it's also teaching him is a mind shift of like, you can make money that's not tied per hour, right?
Yeah.
As an entrepreneur, it's not an hourly wage. It's like infinite the amount of money depending on what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
So that's cool to watch too.
When I do new things, I talk to him about it.
Okay.
Because what I'm wanting to create is him to be excited when he comes up with new things, and that like today so I'm an esthetician, right? But I've done lashes this whole time. I haven't done facials. Today I did my first facial. I've done since I've had my license.
Okay. Really? So
And
you've just been holding off?
I got so busy with lashes that I just didn't do facials, and I don't know why. It's such good money.
Right.
And so I'm getting back into it, and I did my first one today. So when I got in the car, I was like, Bub, I did my first facial today. Like, that's what we were doing. He was like, really? And I was like, yeah, are you proud of me? And he was like, yeah.
That's cool.
And then when I launched or, started the podcast, I'm like, Bub, mommy's starting a new business. Like, I'm doing a podcast. He's like, what? That's so cool.
Let's segue into that. That's a great segue. So we were talking, you're going to launch a podcast. What drove you to have a podcast?
So many years ago, I had said I wanted to podcast, going back to that client who was like, we've been talking about this for 3 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Apparently I said.
That was part of that plan.
Yes, I guess apparently I
So there's
said.
a book and a podcast in there.
Yes.
Okay.
And so I don't know, I've always wanted to have a book written, but I was like, I want to do a podcast. I thought it was cool. I listened to podcasts I have for years, and
What's your favorite?
oh my God, I have so many
Me too.
in my thing. I don't even know.
Yeah.
I think I would probably venture the entrepreneur and like relationship podcasts are interesting because like when they're real.
Do you watch like the ones that bash on dudes like Call Me Daddy or
That was the
whatever?
first one I started listening to.
There's a bunch of those where it's like just bashing on the dudes.
Yes. Sometimes I like those, but then I like the ones who are like been married and they still have problems and they figure out how to they maneuvered, and just because that's life, you know, like, but yeah, so a lot of them. But I like kind of being on the front end, and I know now there's so many people doing podcasts.
Definitely.
Where I feel like before they weren't.
I think it's a great way to create content, and also a great way for people to get to know you without getting to know you.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. Yeah. Because, again, the guy I went to dinner with, he was like, who are you? Like, tell me who, because he's known me for a couple years, and I feel like I'm transparent, but apparently on social media, it doesn't come across who I am. And so this was a good way for me. I wanted to connect with my clients more and take our experience behind the table into a different space
Okay.
where people could get to know them as well. Because sometimes we have really good conversations and we're like, people need to hear.
So you're going to
this.
incorporate some of your clients
I
into the
have
podcast?
already.
You
Yes,
have already?
yeah.
Okay.
It's been really cool. So
Cool.
that's really what it was to take the community of my clients
Mhm.
and we do something else together,
Got
you
it.
know, and have them on. And because they're interesting people too,
Yeah.
you know, like,
And I don't know if it's like, going to the barber shop, it's like almost like they're your therapist,
Yeah,
right? So I don't know if that
yes,
happens to you.
yes.
Like the ladies come in and they just give you all the problems and you're there counseling. I don't know if that happens.
do.
Does it?
They do,
Yeah.
yeah. Especially when I first started, I was like, I would have kept that to myself. Like, you don't
Yeah.
even know me.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have to also be a kind-hearted person and somebody that they can vent to, because
Mhm.
I did a video shoot and I had a few clients come in and I wanted to have live reviews. You know, like they do on infomercials?
Sure.
They have like the live people
Yeah.
say like what they liked about the product.
Mhm.
So instead of like written reviews, which are everywhere, I wanted videos.
Like video reviews.
Yes,
That's a
I
cool
thought that
idea.
was really cool.
Yeah.
And this one girl, she was like, I don't know what I would do without Shellica. Like every 2 weeks I come and I get to just let everything
Yeah.
out.
And that's
She
not even
just
part of the
listens.
service.
No.
That's just like an extra plus. You're the
Yeah,
therapist.
Because their
right?
eyes are closed.
Yeah.
And I just feel like if you're going to open up to me, like I'm a safe space.
Mhm.
And I didn't realize how much of an impact it had on her. And because some people don't have anybody
That's true.
to talk to.
Are you good at giving advice? I feel like I would just be like, just leave him, girl. He's no good.
Yeah, no, I do.
You give him like blunt advice, like
I
even
do.
though, yeah.
I do, and I ask questions so
Yeah.
they can answer back.
Okay.
Then hear and kind of try to find healing for themselves.
Mm.
Because I don't ever want to be bossy and be like, this is what you need to do. Because
You're
people
not
don't
gonna
listen to me.
sugarcoat it.
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, why do you think he did that to you?
Yeah.
What led up to that? What did you say? Oh, okay. Well, maybe do this. Try this and say this. And
Yeah.
I just say from my experience, because that's all I can speak from is my experience.
True. So what's the name of your podcast?
Well, right now it's called Lash Chair Chronicles.
Okay.
I think I'm going to change it
Yeah.
to just my name, Shellica Jordan.
Okay. I like it. Yeah.
I think so too.
I think something more simple, and then it's also broader, right? Because you're probably going to be talking more than just lashes, I'd imagine.
Exactly. Yeah, we are.
Is it already out?
I haven't posted it. I haven't
Oh, yeah.
launched it
Okay.
yet.
It's going to be a New Year thing?
I think
or
so.
what? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. That's cool. I like that. So, you're going to do the podcast, but you sold your business and you kind of left me on a cliffhanger. You said you were going to want to move. You didn't want to be stuck here, but you're here. So what happened?
Well, my son,
Yeah.
for the most part, his dad is here. And like I said, he's 9. So I'm here until he's of age. But time goes by so fast.
True.
He'll be 18 before I know it.
True.
I'm going to follow him to college, though. Wherever he goes, that's where I'll
Yeah.
be. So I'm here for now. And I just try to make the most of a situation. You know, I didn't find a place to move to and then be like, I need to sell.
Yeah.
It just happened, like I said, organically. And it's one thing that just kind of released that freedom out into the world
Okay.
that says, okay, Shellica is available for different things
True.
and she can travel. I had a guy today was like, hey, I'm in Dallas. Can you come do facials for me here? I don't see, I can now. Do you know what I mean?
That's amazing. Yeah.
Like, and I could before, but when you have employees,
Sure.
you have a brick and mortar
You're
and
tied.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lot to think about.
Yeah. Tell me about this new beauty brand and what that entails and how you decided to build that.
So it's called Chante Beauty, and Chante is my middle name.
Okay.
So this new venture, like I wanted to just be very personal to me. I'm stuck with me, So my very first business was called Imagine. And I started in 2008, and that's when I freelanced and went to people's homes and did their makeup.
Mhm.
So I've had a few businesses. This was my first one. I feel like it's just authentically mine and represents me. And so I wanted to use my name,
Yeah.
because it'll never get old, or Posh was cool and I liked the definition, but it has no really direct meaning to me.
Got it.
So this is my new brand, and when people support it, I feel like they're really supporting me.
And is this more of an online venture or does it have like a physical location as well? Or?
Yeah, so right now I do my facials and my permanent makeup at Lennox Skincare.
Okay.
It's a spa. So for Oklahoma, we have to be under a doctor to do permanent makeup,
I see.
which is so weird because tattoo artists can do it
That's true. I
anywhere.
didn't think about that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I use the same needles.
It's the same thing.
The same gun.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's just because it's on the face,
Yeah.
I guess. With some tattoo artists tattoo on the face.
That's true.
They
It's
don't
pretty
do
common. now.
brows,
It's pretty
but
common. Yeah.
they do names or whatever,
Right.
teardrops or
Yeah.
whatever.
That's true.
So I am here and I do have an online like site to sell lashes and lash products to lash artists.
Got it.
And so I am also looking into like e-com.
That's
stuff.
my next question.
Yes.
Because you were talking about not being stuck to brick and mortar. I was like,
Yes.
I wonder if she's
I
going like
wanna
online.
travel. Yes, I'm trying to do like online trainings,
Mhm.
creating videos to sell online, and then the e-com route, just trying to figure it out. There's a lot to
For
it.
sure. Yeah.
I-
Tell me about the sort of like permanent makeup. Like what sort of things do people get? I'm not really familiar, so you're gonna have to give me a crash
Okay,
course. Like
okay.
what can people get as far as permanent makeup?
So for what falls under me, brows, eyeliner, and lip blushing.
Okay.
Now there are classes that you could take to do like blush, like cosmetic tattoo, to like tattoo the blush color. I did one girl's freckles. She wanted faux freckles. So
Really?
I did that. That was really cool.
Most people usually try to cover
I
it.
know, like
right?
me. I'm like, and she has beautiful porcelain
Beautiful
skin.
Wow.
I'm like, Michelle, why?
We always
do
want what
you
we don't
want
have,
this?
right?
I
Always
was
what we don't
like,
have. Yeah.
you can take mine.
Yeah.
I'd much rather have your skin. Like she has nothing,
Wow.
no blemish or anything. And she just wanted, so I gave her the pen and I said, I'm going to step out because I don't want to make you uncomfortable. And you just mark how you want it to look and I'll go over.
Really?
Right? Because I didn't want to make her freckles
That's
for
true,
her.
but she probably doesn't have any training
Well,
to know what, right?
She knows what she likes
Okay.
because she came to me about it and sent me photos. So I'm like, wherever you want them placed, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and then we'll talk about it.
Okay.
And I walked in and she had them everywhere.
No way.
We're not doing that many. I can't.
Yeah.
So I was like, let's do half of it. And then if you want more, we can do more.
Down the
'cause I
road or
can't take
something.
these off.
Yeah.
But she loves them.
Really?
She's like, I freaking love them.
So what, like, I guess what shade or what, because freckles could be like light or dark,
Yeah.
right?
So she wanted them kind of like mid to light.
Okay.
So we did like a light tan, light brown
Yeah.
on her.
Got it.
Yeah. And so if she likes the way they fade, I won't do a touch up.
Oh, so it will fade a little
Yeah,
bit?
a little bit. Yes.
Okay.
It'll always fade. I one time tattooed hair like strokes in a girl's like edge line. She was going balding, and so I used my blade and like just did like what followed her hair
Yeah.
basically.
Wow. So
That
did
was
you
cool.
go to like a tattoo, like sort of training, like
Yeah.
traditional tattoo, or is there a different training for this type of?
There's a different one. You
Yeah.
have to do like a 13 to 16 week class. You go to
Mhm.
class like Monday and Tuesdays, and then you have clinicals one day of the week.
Okay.
So then you have like 16 clinicals that you have to do, show your photos, and then you have to take a test.
What do you practice on? That's my question.
Real people.
No way.
Yeah.
Real people.
Yeah, you have to.
These people sign up to be sort
Yeah,
of like.
because people want something for free or super cheap. So they do have to pay because we have to do it at a doctor's office and we have to pay him.
Yeah.
So it's the doctor's fee. So I
Okay.
was thinking it was like $150 or something like that
Mm.
that they paid, and they trusted
I'm
you.
over here thinking it was like you practice like, I don't know, a piece of fruit or something that might be similar
class.
to like skin.
in class.
Is
you
that-
can do it like on a balloon
Okay.
or like an apple or something.
Got it.
Um,
That's what I was thinking. I
and-
wasn't expecting like real
yes.
people.
No, we had to do our clinicals on real people.
That's a lot of
so-
pressure. What was
I
the
know.
first one? Were you like super nervous?
So
or no?
yeah, I took a training in Dallas first,
Mhm.
microblading. It was a 2-day training, and then when I came back to Oklahoma, because the rules are different there,
Yeah.
you don't have to be under a doctor.
Okay.
You could do it in a nail salon.
No way.
I did tattooing in a nail salon in
Doesn't
Dallas.
it have to be like different as far as like, everything has to be clean, a different environment sort of requirements or no?
Yeah, not in Dallas, not in
Okay.
Texas.
Okay.
So I went there first and did my training. So I did brows first
Yeah.
there. And then I came back to Oklahoma and everyone's like, no, you have to go to schooling, you take a test, be under a doctor. And I'm like, so I looked into it, I paid, I went. The test was super hard.
Really?
The hardest test. I studied for months. And
Jeez.
when it's funny because when I do my meditations, you know, they have you visualize a place and they like ask you to go to a place that you were very happy. And how did you feel? What did you see?
Yeah.
What happened? And one of my happiest moments was when
you passed the test?
Yes, that test particular, because
Nice.
it was so hard. And, you know, passing a 70, I made a 72.
Okay.
It's so hard.
Yeah. That's
And they tell
crazy.
you your results right then. And
Yeah.
I was so happy I didn't
It's
have
like
to retake.
relief.
Yes. I went to the
awesome.
parking lot and I was literally screaming like,
Yeah.
woohoo. Like,
That's cool.
I guess I would stay up so late studying and it paid off.
Yeah. So have you ever done a person and they complain or they weren't happy? Like, I feel like it's a lot of
think
pressure.
so.
They might say like, hey, I want this, but then they see it and maybe they change their mind. Hopefully that never happens. But
I had one girl, and you know what? This was a lesson learned as a business owner. I'll never do it again. But she was already kind of weird energy when she came in.
yeah.
Like I was finishing up a client, she came in and she just was like, I'm here to see Shellica. And I was like, oh, okay, give me 1 second. I'll be right with you. I'll give you your paperwork. So I dried my client and I got the paperwork, which was already ready, right? Because I knew I had a client.
Yeah.
And I walked to the lobby and she wasn't there.
Uh-oh.
So I texted her and I was like, hey, I checked the restroom. She wasn't in there.
Mhm.
And she went out to her car. And I said, okay, well, whenever you want to come in, you know, I have your paperwork ready. And she was like, well, there's a kid there and those chairs are uncomfortable. And I said, well, we have a couch if that's more comfortable for you. You know, okay. Just filling out paperwork.
Yeah.
And so she was just like, okay. And she comes back in. I give it to her. And she was just like really like weird, like grabbing the paper weird.
Sounds like
and
she was having
slow.
second guesses.
She
or
was,
what?
yeah. And I was just like, and she goes, well, you know, my appointment's at this time. And I was just expecting to walk right in.
Mhm.
And I said, I understand that, but you have to fill out your paperwork
Yeah,
first.
for
Like,
sure.
per the state and the doctor, you have to fill this out. Like, we can't start right now.
Right.
And so I think having my client in there made her upset. I have no idea, but she was just like, she made this comment and she said, oh, I apologized to her. And she goes, oh, it's fine. I'll just leave a review. That's what she said. And I took the paper clipboard and I was like, if you're going to give me a bad review, I don't want to do
Yeah,
this.
we haven't even started, right? Like you haven't even filled out the paperwork. You're already talking about a review.
Yeah. And she goes, did I say bad review? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to leave you a bad review. And I was like, well, most of the time when people say those
Right.
words, that's,
Yeah.
then it never happened to me. And so I was just like, okay.
Mhm.
And she filled it out. And I was doing her lip tattoo. And she had super dark lips. And you can neutralize it, but it's a process, right?
I see.
And so she was happy at the end because it was like a light pink.
Mhm.
But I guess when they healed, which you need 2 appointments, sometimes 3, we only did 1.
Oh man.
And so she texted me. So at that time, when I got home, I checked my email and saw the 1-star review,
Oh, no.
which
So
was
she
done
did?
when she was filling out
Oh,
paperwork.
jeez.
And had I checked my email, I wouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
I'm like, you've already given me a 1-star before
Right.
we
Before you
started.
That's crazy.
And the only thing I'm proud of was that she was a little antsy. And by the end of it, we were talking, laughing like we'd known each other. And
Okay.
I turned that around and then I
Right.
was knocked down with the 1 review. And then she changed it.
If that was me, that would have been a lot of red flags. I would have been like, maybe let's not do this.
I will
I don't know.
never.
You're brave for going through with it.
I know. I don't know. I'm so nice.
Yeah.
But I can't ever do that
Yeah.
again. But I think that in my whole career, that's the only time that someone complained or,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, because I think even if, let's say everything, like you said, there's a process, maybe there's like a second or a third visit, it's not going to look like what you want it to look like the very first session, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably people don't understand that, maybe.
No, and I try my best to explain
Yeah.
it to her verbally and through text.
Yeah.
And so it makes it hard.
So we're about to, get into a new year. What are your goals for this year? Just the few minutes we've had this conversation, I see you're super ambitious. You're a goal setter. So I'm sure you've got some goals for this year.
I do have some goals. It probably looks different than most years. I'm not super, super big on like New Year's resolutions. I just
Okay.
feel like it should be any day of the year.
Sure.
You're
You don't have to
promising
wait.
yourself
Right. Yeah.
things, you know. So, um, for sure, raising my son,
Mhm.
being a better mom, I think that's first and foremost the most important to me,
Definitely.
and just leading by example with him. I do want to read more books, which is crazy because I looked and I think I read 43 books in 3 years.
No way.
Yeah.
Do you actually
So,
read or do you do Audible?
some of
'Cause
them.
I do Audible.
Both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes I like to lay in the bed and he's
Mhm.
playing his video game and I'm just reading my
Yeah.
book, and I love that. I grew up reading books, so like it's nostalgic at this
Yeah.
point because everything I do else is on my phone. I want to be focused more in my brand and showcasing a more confident side
Mhm.
of who I am as a person, and then also just like discovering more of me.
Yeah.
You know, like when that guy said, "Who are you?" He's like, "I went to your Facebook and like there's pictures of you and then it's just your son.
Yeah.
Like, who are you?"
Well, I think a lot of people too. I mean, I don't like to share a lot of personal stuff either. Some people put all their drama on social media. I'm not that guy. So,
Me either.
yeah, I don't know what he was expecting to
I
find.
don't either. I don't know. So it threw me, and so I went
Yeah.
home and I'm like, "Who are you?" Shellica, like,
Yeah.
who are you? And I'm like, "Okay, what is my purpose?" So I think for 2024, I'm really going to be on a journey of trying to discover what my purpose is
Mhm.
here. Although I love my work, I don't think it's my deep, deep, soulful
Yeah.
purpose. You know what I mean? And
Sure.
I think because we're spiritual beings, it's connecting more with people. And I've enjoyed that this last half of the year. And I think I want to continue that in 2024.
Yeah. I read a quote that if you live the same year 70 times over and over, you wasted a life, basically.
Yep.
So I think you're really not the same person. You shouldn't be the same person
Right.
year after year, right? It's all about growth,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. My therapist is in LA, and he's like, I think he's a median.
Mhm.
I'm not sure, but he's been doing it for a long, long, long time. And it's very inspiring talking to him because every time we talk, it's different. And what I found is that like I'm different every time we talk.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's like new things he's telling me and things that I'm discovering about myself.
Mhm.
And it's just been so fun. Like life has just been fun.
Yeah. Would you describe yourself as an introvert or extrovert? How would you describe yourself?
Probably both.
Both?
Like people's energy pulls more out of me, but then
Mhm.
they also can drain me. And I'm like, I just want to go home and
Yeah.
lay in my bed and watch Netflix right
Yeah.
now. But then I get really excited to do things.
Okay.
And
So it depends on who you're with. And
it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm fine. I'm like a chameleon. Like
Yeah.
whatever is fine.
Cool. How did you get into meditation? Did you like go sort of a traditional route or did you do like yoga or something like that? Like what led you to meditation?
So, I dated a guy for a year and a half. I broke up with him last Christmas.
Mhm.
And so I started 2023 single. I'm ending it single,
Yeah.
and I have loved it. And so with that subtraction and distraction from my life, I was able to focus more on me. And I was journaling and reading, but meditating, I didn't really understand it. I didn't feel like I did.
It's
And I'm like, I'm
intimidating.
doing this wrong.
Yeah.
And so I got more curious and looked up more videos and like, how do you meditate? What am I supposed to be thinking?
Did you go out and get
or
certified?
feeling? No, I did. I should. I want to.
Yeah.
I asked my therapist, I was like, should I be a therapist? Like, I've been thinking about it. And he was like, no. He's like, people will get on your nerves. They don't
Yeah.
listen. And I'm like,
Nice.
you're right. I have a short fuse.
Mhm.
So I just dug deeper into what is meditation and what does it mean for me and what can it do
Okay.
for me. And the definition of meditation is to know oneself. And so you don't do it to get more money, or it's to dig deeper into what makes you happy.
Okay.
And so
And there's different forms too, right?
Yeah.
Some require like silence,
Yeah.
not like even like no light,
Yeah.
nothing, right?
yeah.
Like, so what sort of form of meditation do you
So
gravitate towards?
I started with like listening like on Audibles or YouTube. And then I think in June I started doing yoga. And it's crazy how you start one thing and how
It's a rabbit hole.
it leads you to something else. I
Yeah.
didn't, no one said you need to do yoga. It's just that my body was like, we want to do yoga,
Yeah.
like go to class. And so I go every Sunday and
Cool.
it's hot yoga.
Okay.
And so it's
I've
like
heard
more
that's
intense.
super hard
Yes.
because you're like breathing and sweating.
And it's hot.
Like, yeah, it's
Yeah,
intense,
it's-
right?
Yes, it is. But I love it.
Yeah.
And so putting that practice in my life has helped so much, and knowing how to breathe and calm myself down and not have to rely on a video or someone else, but I can do it myself. So I think
Yeah.
a lot of it's learning to trust yourself.
Got it. How do you stay sort of on top with all the trends in fashion and beauty? Because it changes all the time, right?
Yes.
And there's trends that turn out to be horrible, and everybody's like, "What were we thinking during that time?" Right? So how do you stay
Like skinny
creative?
brow.
Exactly, right? Like,
Oh,
and then you're like, "What was I thinking?"
I
So how do you
know.
avoid that? Like, I don't
you
know.
know what's funny is like now I think in 10 years, I look at myself in the mirror and am I going to be like, what am I thinking with these thick brows?
It's tough. I mean, even the clothes we wear and everything. Well,
Yeah.
now like the 90s clothes and stuff like that are coming back,
It is.
which is
Yeah,
pretty funny.
I love it.
Yeah.
I think just going off of that thought in the mirror, like, am I going to like these thick brows in 10 years? But here's the thing. These are natural.
Yeah.
So it's what are mine.
It's not a
So,
trend. It's
yeah,
you,
it's not a
right?
trend. It's
Yeah.
me. And right now I like it.
Yeah.
And I like my natural lashes. I let my freckles show.
Mhm.
Those are things that I used to hide and I felt like I needed to mask. And so with the meditation and knowing myself more has allowed me to like and accept me more. And so with the trends, I think just doing what feels good to you. You know, when I shop for anything, I could be at the Container Store, I could be at the mall or online.
I've never
How's-
been, by the way. There's a lot of
Container
hype.
Store?
There's a lot of hype to that.
Oh my
right?
gosh, yes.
Is it like a cool place? Like I can't envision like there's just a bunch of containers, right? Like,
Yeah, there are like
Yeah.
that's like here's the clothing section and like
Yeah.
office and kitchen. So whatever you need
Yeah.
to keep your house organized.
You have to
it's
be like
great.
type A to enjoy it or no?
I guess to enjoy it.
Yeah.
You might not, but you're like,
Yeah.
I need it.
That's cool.
And then I think that people will come to your house and like help you what you need, like what your
Mhm.
goals are.
Got it.
But whatever feels good to me. You know, if I put on something and I'm like, I don't like this, I'm not gonna buy it. Whereas before I would spend money and waste it.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I had to have these shoes because everyone else has it.
And it's like fashion, right? Like 6 months from now, those shoes are
Yeah.
probably not hot anymore.
But if it feels good to me and feel right
Yeah.
to me, it doesn't matter what season of the year, I'm going to love like these boots I have on. You want to know the story behind
let's,
these
let's do it.
boots?
Yeah. And let's see the boots. I don't know if you can put them on the camera or not.
Oh my gosh. So I was getting my nails done and the receptionist had these boots on that I have on.
Mhm.
And they were so cute. And I know what I like. If I see something that makes me feel some type of way,
Yeah.
I have to have it because
I'm gonna
that feeling doesn't like it. It's not what's the word, like it's not, no one told me to like it.
Yeah.
No one influenced me.
It's not predicated. Are you seeing it on social media or
Yeah.
this influencer?
Yeah.
It's like, I know what I like.
That
right?
made me feel some type of way. And I was
Right.
like, I like her boots. I like how thin they were, how narrow, how like chill,
Yeah.
unnoticeable. There was a little bit of detail.
High or low?
They're low.
Low? Okay.
And they have a little cloth. I don't know. I just liked everything about them.
Nice.
And she was like, I got them at Ross.
Mhm.
I haven't been to Ross in 10 years. I was like, Ross? I can't like go to Ross.
Mhm.
Every Ross is different, you know?
Yeah, and their inventory changes like every
Yes.
week. right?
Yes, it's
Yeah.
not like Dillard's
Yeah.
where they have everything in every Dillard's. So she was like, it was a Ross 2 hours away.
No way.
And somehow,
Even worse.
Yeah, even worse. So this day I was determined. I went to 4 different Rosses. Couldn't find them, right?
Mm.
How, was I ever going to? So then
Did
I
you know
was
the
like-
brand or anything?
So
or-
she had told me the brand and I
Okay.
had Googled it and found it. I guess a girl, I don't know if she wore them or didn't wear them, but it was like on a resale store.
Uh-huh.
And there was one size. She had one pair, one size. It was 8.5.
That's yours.
And yep, that's my
That's meant to
size.
be.
And so I got them.
That's crazy.
I was like, this is crazy. It was like hours of searching.
Yeah.
And a lot were smaller sizes. And then finally one popped up. and I got my boots,
That's
and they
cool.
make me so happy when I see them.
Yeah, it's meant to be.
But then I have shoes. You know what? I have a pair of Valentino shoes, $1,400. I've never worn.
No way.
I've had in my closet for 4 years.
What's the one that the ladies are, the red bottoms? Do you have red
I
bottoms?
do.
You wear those?
But you want to know what? I have the old lady ones. Like
What's those
the
lady ones?
They only come in cream and black,
Okay.
and they're a lower heel.
Okay.
And those are the only red bottoms
got it.
that I have.
Do you wear them? I'd be afraid of, because the red bottom isn't going to stay red
I
bottom.
do.
As soon as you walk out, it's going to get scuffed up,
The
right?
heel part, like the front part of your foot,
Uh-huh.
it gets scratched.
Yeah.
But they have like paddings you can put on there.
Oh,
But
okay.
I just have the cream and the black, so it's very boring. But the other heels in Louis Vuitton, they're high.
Uh-huh.
They're too high for me.
Yeah. And those are the ones that everybody sort of wears.
They
when you
kind of, I
think
don't
of-
know how they
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
And so I have so many expensive shoes that I don't wear.
You're happy with the Ross
So,
ones?
yeah, they make me so
Yeah.
happy. So I think that's the key, is just what makes you happy. It doesn't matter if it's from Target or Ross or Valentino, it's just like, what makes you happy?
For sure.
Wear it, do it,
Yeah.
and not try to impress other people, because you're still going to be left lonely at home at the end of the day.
True.
And if I'm going to be home by myself, I want to be happy
Yeah.
and enjoy
Comfortable.
yes, in
Yeah.
my own space and my own skin.
That makes sense. We are running out of time. Before we sign off, I want to give you a space to plug in your socials. Where can people find you? Anything you want to play? Of course, the podcast. Remind them again. Keep an eye out for the podcast.
Yes.
So go for it.
So we're going to change the podcast to Shellica Jordan.
Okay.
My TikTok is Shellica Chante Jordan. And my Instagram is Shellica.Chante Beauty.
Okay. Perfect.
Yes.
We'll be looking forward to the podcast dropping in the new year.
Yes.
Right?
Thank you
Awesome.
so much.
I want to thank you for being on the podcast.
Yes.
It's super fun. We got to talk
Yes.
about everything. I feel like we still need to talk more fashion and everything. So maybe next time.
Yes.
All right. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the super talented Shellica Jordan on the Maverick Podcast. Keep grinding, because in dreams we trust.